Music energizes the soul. Music is plasma, music is blood, music is what flows through everything that we do, whether it's the rhythm of walking down the street, to listening to a concert, or just listening to music in the car in your drive just to pass the time.
Well, a concerto is a piece where there's a featured instrument and the orchestra accompanies that instrument.
Well, at Frenchwood's, it's very different than what you'd have anywhere else. We choose anywhere from 4 soloists to 6 soloists. In this case, we had 7, which was a large year for us. And they get to perform a movement or a work that's short with the symphony in a very dressed up evening for camp.
Well, I think that's like opening up the door to their future.
The kids come up to camp and audition on their audition day, and then are decided upon that very day. We empowered a panel of 3 judges, myself, Jason Brook, the assistant director of music, and Glenn Egner, who was our guest for the session, who's a retired principal flute of a major symphony orchestra in South America.
Technique means that you have the ability in your fingers to play the rhythmic and the fast passages, basically.
You don't want to make it sound like a machine. Music is nothing on a piece of paper. It's just notes. But when a person comes up and plays it, you want to express that music out towards the people.
Flute, how would a round sound, very velvety. Let's say the trumpet is blasting out all the time, you're like a bullfighter.
His tone was impeccable, impeccable. You know, for someone
nice trill.
Except in the upper register where he didn't use enough air. But I think that was also some nervousness as well as... Because it's not just about playing the black spots on the page, because that's all they are. They're black spots on a page. They don't live. They don't live. They don't come alive until someone plays them and sings them.
And just the way you move with the piece and like the amount of vibrato you put into it, I don't know, you can like shape the music.
I mean, that was intense.
I am.
Well, she's like Allegro Appassionato, and I was like, okay, let's see how passionate this is going to be. Verse 6.5.
8.5.
8.5, that's 17. 17.5.
6.
Tone.
9. I mean like 28, 27, then it goes way down, or what?
Are you ready for this? Here it is. Here are the ones who...
So you're going to go exactly by the points.
I'm going to lean towards the points and we'll discuss it. Saida, Thomas, Kira, Ricky, and Michael.
But this is like, they'll see what I come to this camp for, and they'll see like my forte. Oh, what a musical pun. Haha.
Saida is a very big talent. She played probably the most difficult concerto on the program.
My teacher thought I should pick an easier piece that I could like really master. But all of the easier pieces, I didn't feel anything. It's not a stiff movement, it's not a stiff piece. It's a piece that has emotions and the audience can connect better.
But playing the drums in general is just a special feeling because you get to hit things. I heard the beginning part, and I just like that one phrase. I just loved it, so I just decided to say I want to play that piece.
There's no way to write jazz down. You can look at music that's written for jazz band, and it's not a representation of what you hear coming out of their instruments.
It's mostly an improvisation, so you have to add a little bit of yours because it's not written out, all of it.
Like it helps anything. I don't know, when you're mad or sad or anything, just any feeling, and you go and play it, it makes everything feel better. And I don't know, I chose it because it's really loud and you can put lots of, I don't know, like feelings into it.
I mean, she's 12 years old. She takes the cello and she feels every note she plays.
Music is my life. If I didn't have music, I really don't know what I would be doing.
I think Michael's already getting, this is his second time. Did you notice when he was there how he stands and everything? He's already like a showman. I says, you're like an actor already.
Well, he worked on one concerto, and we found out that the parts weren't available. They weren't published. So he actually had to learn another piece right from scratch.
It's really, really great. It's the experience of a lifetime for me, personally. You just go up there and, you know, you look back, all your friends are cheering you on, and you just go up there and play.
What's happening is the character, the Merry Widow, is telling the story of Velia to her friends at this garden party, and so the whole song is just a story. Because I mean, I feel some singers think that it's just all about the voice, but I feel like if you're using that powerful of a voice where you don't even need a microphone, even if you're with a whole entire orchestra, there still should be emotion in your face and in the type of sound that's coming out of your mouth.
Well, in like a jazz band solo, you're just improvising for like a couple bars. This is like an entire solo piece just about me. I don't want to mess up and in front of everybody. That'd be pretty bad.
But he's very musical, and he really is a go-getter. He wants to do it.
It's just called the Bass Trombone Concerto, written by Nigel Horn.
The piece was a modern brass band work, and because of that, it was more of a partnership work. You know, without the orchestra, there are certain things that you would not have heard, certain melodic ideas that you would not have heard as much compared to when the trombonist played it. The trombonist was the featured instrument, but truly the ensemble was also part of that feature.
Yeah, even though I like jazz, like I really like playing jazz and stuff like that, but I like classical music because the way you can put vibrato and all that stuff into it, it's expressing your own self. I can make it as beautiful as I possibly can.
Because of his nerves, he's just terribly nervous.
Confidence is always a problem with a brass player when it comes to embouchure, because you can easily crack a note when you have nerves, because your lips are basically what govern your sound.
There's a million different feelings. There's the feeling of excitement when you find out you are playing a concerto. Then there's the feeling of, oh my God, I actually am playing a concerto, I need to practice.
And so my role was, after we chose the best people, we thought were the best, was to polish them up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I basically started from scratch on this piece, so basically he's just been getting the technique-wise.
Not as fast as you're trying to go. All right, we go again.
When I play with him, I feel like I'm better just being in his presence.
You cut this off a little bit, like a little comma. We can't wait, the orchestra's gonna go on.
He counts along and he kind of sings with you. And he taught me some tricks that I wouldn't know otherwise. And even my other flute teacher, she didn't tell me about them.
Without fear, get that thing up. There you go.
Everybody, be to the end. I feel that concerto night is not complete until you actually have the orchestra play as a whole, because it shouldn't just be about the soloist. It should be a well-balanced evening. It's a chance to showcase the orchestra. This is what the orchestra can do. This is what the kids inside the orchestra can do.
You don't set the right mood for this. This is the Allegro Appassionato, not the Allegro Manic Depressive. Here we go. Ready, and bam! Yeah, no wonder you can't play it. You can't sing it. Again, you guys play the down beat, you sing. I want to hear you sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now play it that way.
I love rehearsals more than I love performances. Students learn how to rehearse. They get that for the rest of their life.
I know they're really good, and they can like support me. They can make my concerto that much better.
If you're playing by yourself and you miss a beat or something, you can just like get right back on and start from the measure. But if you get off with an orchestra, then everyone's still going at a different time than you, so you have to like jump right back.
There's the preparation in rehearsals, rehearsing and learning the music, but also adjusting to the different soloists. For example, when you're playing for a flute player and you're playing a work that's very large, you have to be very sensitive to the fact that you need to hear all the notes that the flute player is playing.
It's a weaker instrument. It doesn't project like Tommy stands there with the trombone, he plays piano, you hear every note. The flute is a little bit more in the distance, so I think that Brian was good in getting the volume down for them.
Her work is actually one of the most challenging concertos we did because it calls for a very large orchestra, playing romantic music, and still having to hear the soloist over that. Major opera companies like the Met, their musicians make it their career to learn how to follow singers. And it's a really lighthearted work, but it calls for a very large orchestra because it calls for an opera orchestra from the late 1800s, turn of the century.
You use so little hair on the bow, but a tremendous amount of left hand, which goes against the grain to do that because you kind of want to just put a lot of weight there, and you just use so little. It's almost like you're breathing on the strings.
In the beginning, they were just treating it like another orchestral piece they had to play. When they realized there was like a singer that was doing the aria, the concerto, I think they knew how to like support me a little more and like be kind of more as an accompanist. So it was really cool, and I felt like I was a part of the orchestra for it.
In that space, we were able to still make it work.
You just made beautiful music just now, guys. Beautiful music. You played like you were an opera orchestra. And you know what? For students to do this, that means sensitivity. You did very well.
I am half nervous, half freaked out of my mind about it because the entire camp is going to be there.
But when you just walk out in front of the orchestra and there you are, and every note you play is going to be heard,
Like you're the soloist, you're up in front, and all eyes on you. So if you make a mistake, it's like, oh wow, you made a mistake.
Actually getting up there and playing, which is just a rush of shock and adrenaline.
I know that I'm not the only. Like I know many people. Like there's a couple other people too. So I know that like. If it was something different, like it was a whole entire night of like regular music, and then I had only one concerto, and that. But now I know that I'm playing in front of the camp, and like they're my friends and stuff. And I want to play well.
And just being in front of all those people and like my parents, and my first music teacher ever from high school is coming, so that's like I want to look good in front of him.
I don't want to just be singing the song. I want to be putting the correct emotions at the correct times. So I'm a little nervous about that I might like get choked up and not present it well.
Try to loosen up, try not to think about it and get right. Just think about every note you're going to play and forget about everything else.
Once you start playing, it's just like, natural. You just keep going, and eventually it's over. So as long as you keep playing, you're good.
Since I've practiced so much, I'm confident in my piece. I really feel a sense of accomplishment. Hopefully it'll show on concerto night.
Und lass mich dein
mean, these kids are really lucky to have a chance like this.
If I had another one, when I get older, and if I was like, if I get like really good when I get older, I can say, oh, I played one when I was younger, so now I know what I'm doing now.
Now they have that experience, and maybe they'll know for the next time, to how to improve certain things that they were weak on before.
These kids in the symphony orchestra are playing a piece of music that is at the college and professional level. This is not a piece of music they would see in their middle school any day of the week. They're going to go home with, this music, and they're going to be able to, and they're going to say to their friends, I played the Capriccio Espagnolo of Rimsky-Korsakov, and the kids are going to say, no, you didn't. That's way too hard. The teacher's going to say, you really played that?
I know for a fact that in 100 years from now, no one's going to know who 50 Cent is, but they're still going to remember. It's just like the Beatles. The Beatles, everybody's going to remember them, but same thing with Haydn and Beethoven, all those people, they're going to remember them.
Like I was kind of nervous my first year here. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be a lot above my level, but then I realized there's groups lower than that, so you can work your way up.
French Woods is a huge part of making me a bit better performer. You play in the pits, you play in ensembles, you play with people at your level and much better than you.
When you have people that are better around you, and you're like, yeah, I want to be as good as them. Let me practice to be as good as them.
Because my school's music program wasn't as challenging as the music program that's here. So it's just a whole entire day of playing, and it offers a lot.
It's so rare that you're able to find yourself with an entire orchestra and being able to do your concerto or your aria, and it's a really special opportunity that I don't know any other camp that would do that unless they were an orchestral conservatory, because this is still a camp.
Kira is in the cast of a show. So not only is she playing 2 periods a day, she's also in the cast of a show, so that's 2 periods in a cast.
I like that there are a lot of different opportunities. It's not just symphony, but you also have the opportunity to explore theater or dance or circus. Circus, by the way, is amazing. It gives you such a feeling of accomplishment.
And a French Woods music kid is not just a music kid. They might be, but they could also be anything else they want to be. What better experience than he can walk away saying, I came here to play jazz, and I walked away doing acting as well. Where else can you do that? You can't do that anywhere else.